Hi everyone, welcome back to Between Worlds Tarot. In today's pick a card reading, we are going to look into what part of yourself is awakening currently. So if you have been feeling that something is emerging within you or something is changing or coming up to the surface that needs your recognition, perhaps there is a part of you that is currently awakening. And so before we start the reading, if you ever resonate, please subscribe so you won't miss any future readings. Comment down below and press the like button. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me, you can find my email in the description box below. You can also DM me in my Instagram or TikTok account. If you are interested in tarot readings that are love related or for relationship guidance, you can check my first channel, Between Realms Tarot. You will find the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for staying through this intro, and let's head to the pile selection. For today's reading, I have 3 piles for you, represented by 3 oracle cards. And so for pile number 1, this card is going to be your oracle. For pile number 2, this card is going to be your oracle. And for pile number 3, this card is going to be your oracle. As usual, let go of all of your thoughts and your worries. Take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. Choose the pile that draws you the most. And if you feel drawn to more than one pile, you can definitely do that. This reading is timeless and it will resonate whenever you find it. If you have picked your pile, you will find the timestamps in the description box below, and let's start your reading. Hi, pile number 1. If you have picked this card, this is going to be your reading about what part of yourself is currently awakening, and so let's start your reading. So, pile number 1. Starting here with the dices, I could say that what's awakening within you is some type of a talent or something that is related to a way of self-expression. With this Pluto energy here, there is a profound awakening or something that was buried that is trying to kind of come up to the surface with this Pluto. And I feel like there is a reforming change that is happening to the way you express yourself verbally. With this Gemini in the 5th house, you know, the 5th house can be related to the performing arts, but perhaps you are connected to the performing arts. You're a performer in some way, but it's also related to self-expression, creative work, the work that brings us passion, joy, and also kind of creating something from an authentic place just by becoming or being. It is something that brings us joy, just being. And this Gemini energy here is symbolizing communication or any Gemini related themes. We could also see influencers with Gemini energy, but perhaps it's teaching, writing, speaking, thinking, intellectual work, storytelling, learning, sharing ideas, debating, or having fun with the words. I feel like all of those themes can be emphasized in here, but it's also related to self-expression or some type of a talent. But me saying talent, I just take it with a grain of salt, because when I look at what was asleep before this awakening, we have the 7 of Pentacles. And the 7 of Pentacles talks about something that was being cultivated with a lot of patience, something that was kind of looked after for a long time or for a long period. I feel like there is something that you were persistent about, or something that you were learning, or something that you have been working through but not fully recognizing or not being sure perhaps about what is it going or what to do with it next with the 7 of Pentacles. And so whatever this is, it is not something new. It's something that has been kind of forming under the surface for a long time without any perhaps expectation. Maybe again, you were not sure of where would you take this or where it would go, and I feel like it contains a lot of wisdom and it brought you a lot of joy. But this Pluto here talks about how it's kind of clicking, or it's almost triggering this Seven of Pentacles to move. And with this Two of Cups, it seems like, why is it awakening now? I feel like there is connection, or it's awakening because perhaps through connecting with other people, it's been mirrored or reflected to you. Through connecting with perhaps one person, it might be a friendship or a relationship or a romantic connection or a platonic, or maybe a connection with a parent or a child. It's just that there is a profound connection or profound connections to other people that in a way allowed you to see yourself and see this part of yourself that is awakening more clearly. And so connection often, or connecting with people often, awakens us to part of ourselves because it gets reflected back onto us through connecting with others and through different dynamics. With the Two of Swords here, a gift that seems to be emerging through this part of yourself is, as you see here, when I look at the elephant is a figure or an animal that can remind of us of wisdom, but it can also remind us of memory capacity in a way. And so what I was getting first with this Two of Swords card here is that I feel like a gift that might be emerging right now is a gift of trusting your capacity to make the right decisions. A gift of trusting your capacity to have what it takes when it comes to mental agility and decision making process to make a decision. But it also is more comfort with uncertainty. You seem to be now more comfortable with uncertainty, with just sitting still until you gather enough information to make the right decision. The Two of Swords shows us the gift of discernment through uncertainty. It shows us perhaps also the Two of Swords seeing both sides of a situation, and also with this Gemini energy, the duality is very clear. The indecision, connotation related to the Two of Swords. But, indecision can come from a place of seeing two sides of the situation, or both or many perspective in a situation, and where we are making thoughtful decisions rather than impulsive decisions just because we are uncomfortable with the silence. And so this suggests that the gift that might be emerging right now is a gift of developing or deciding from a place of wisdom and reflection rather than from a place of impulsivity. With the Queen of Swords, I feel like a part of you that needs healing to support this part of you that is awakening is perhaps a part of you that needed boundaries, that needed validation for your truth. A part of you, I feel like this part of you is a part that is all about trusting your own judgment, trusting the way you see things, trusting the way you believe in yourself too, and your sense of clarity and judging the truth or seeing the truth. And so the Queen of Swords is a queen, or is a figure that balances clarity and truth with a sense of compassion. This compassion can be towards herself or towards others. And so I feel like a part of you that needs healing is a part where you're able to trust in your own judgment and in your own sense of truth, and being compassionate with yourself in that process. Perhaps releasing self-criticism or criticism towards others too. And I think that the more you focus on, or the more you understand how this part needs healing, the more this supports you and the more this allows for a natural flow of wisdom to help you with this decision making process here with this Two of Swords. With the Page of Wands, this is how this part is changing your life or influencing your life from now on. And the Page of Wands talks about a sense of adventure, a sense of excitement and spark. I feel like perhaps this part of you is longing for connecting with others or with projects that inspire you, that trigger your curiosity, and it kind of perhaps gives you this sense of innocence again to pursue new passions, or to pursue your creative self-expression, or at least use this gift of discernment and self-expression in a creative way and be enthusiastic about it. I feel this combined with Pluto in Gemini and in the fifth house, there is a lot of joy that can be brought into your life. There is a lot of renewal that can be brought into your sense of self-expression and following what genuinely excites you here. With the Five of Wands, how to nurture this part of yourself right now that is awakening. The Five of Wands is an energy of conflict, but conflict can be challenged. And so the Five of Wands can talk about perhaps challenging yourself in a healthy way, or having challenges with others. Again, debates come to my mind. Again, healthy debates with others, discussing ideas in a creative and a challenging way can nurture and bring more wisdom and development to this part of yourself that is awakening right now. And so I feel like learning from other people's perspectives, or other perspectives in general, can challenge your own way of perceiving yourself and others and ideas and things. And I feel like that can give you a broader picture of life and can help this part of you develop. And I feel like when we go, for an example, through debates with other people, whether official or not, I feel we can learn a lot from another person's way of thinking and seeing things. We can learn from their way of gathering arguments and information. We can learn from their way of speaking and the way they use words. And so I feel it improves us to challenge ourselves through dealing with others, or not necessarily just others, maybe other projects. It depends on your situation, because this is a general reading. And so I feel like the way you can nurture yourself is by challenging your limits and challenging your ability to improve, or kind of accepting that you need to improve. And so there is friction in this Five of Wands, and you're being called to not avoid friction, to not avoid criticism, to accept it, and to accept the challenge, and to grow through it, and to practice with this Five of Wands. With this Nine of Pentacles and at the end, it seems like the future self that is integrating this awakening is admired. The Nine of Pentacles can talk about a self that is fully masterful, a self that mastered itself, and so it can be seen by others, it can be admired, but it also speaks of a sense of confidence, self-reassurance, and self-love, and satisfaction. I feel like there is a sense of wholeness that you can reach within yourself, and that can bring you a lot of satisfaction and reassurance. It can kind of grow your self-esteem in a healthy way, and it can make you feel like you're enjoying yourself more, you're enjoying your company, and you're enjoying your abilities and the results of your work. If this is something that is, you're willing to monetize it, or it's part of your job or part of what kind of brings wealth for you, because it's a Nine of Pentacles. I feel like this has the ability to bring a lot of abundance for you. And so in addition to the abundance, there is a lot of self-reassurance and confidence and acceptance and wholeness that can be reached through this full awakening. A message from this part of yourself that is awakening, it says, let me show you the picture. Okay, so we see this female figure literally kissing a tree. So I thought that I might show you the picture because it's, in my opinion, important. It's not that I'm drawing any symbolism from this one. I'm more concerned about the message. Maybe there is something here in this image that would resonate with you, pile number one. But for me, I'm more drawn towards the message. So it says, give thanks for the blessings of love soon to come your way. Know that you deserve to be and have all that your heart truly desires. And so, I don't know, for me, like, what are you resonating with it in this message and in this imagery? But for me, I feel like it's giving me the message of this part of yourself that is awakening, that is in deep, or that is related to your deep sense of needing validation or wanting validation, wanting to feel like you matter, or that your involvement or your presence matters. And so I feel like this speaks to that part in some way. Know that you deserve to be and have all that your heart truly desires. And so it feels like a nudge for you to embrace this part of yourself. If it feels like it's too good to be true, or anything in life that feels like it's too good to be true, know that you deserve it. With the mother energy here, the vibration of this awakening, it seems like a vibration of nurturing yourself. I feel like this is coming up to the surface because, again, through this Two of Cups, perhaps there are connections to others that are mirroring back to you your worthiness of this part of yourself. Or, when we do shadow work, for an example, shadow work is not just about the negative qualities, it's also about the positive qualities. It's everything that is unknown to us or hidden from us in deeply in our subconscious. And I feel like, again, interacting with other people reflected this back onto you. But the mother also speaks of this part of yourself that is awakening, that is deeply intimate to you, that is connected to you. Even if it was reflected by other people, it was awakened by other people. Especially when I look at this, these two cups here, they look like those that, I don't know how to call it really, to be honest. The instrument that we use to announce something. Oh my god, the one that we find on the judgment card. I cannot remember how it's called. I'm sorry, guys. English is not my first language. I forgot. Oh my god. I really hope it makes sense, but I feel like this part of you was awakened by connecting to others because it was reflected back onto you. Perhaps somebody told you that they see this gift or this part of yourself within you. And I feel like once that was announced to you or reflected to you, you entered this vibration of nurturing it, or of caring for yourself and for this part of you, or of this, you enter the vibration of accepting this part of you, of nurturing it and being compassionate within it or with it. And so it's a deeply intimate process with yourself. It's a process that allowed you to take care of yourself and allowed you to be compassionate with yourself enough to let this part feel safe enough to kind of get to the surface for you to be aware of it. I love this energy for you, pile number one. Now, with the destiny and the dissipating card, I first of all got the destiny card, and I'm like, this is a very broad and, for me, an ominous card. I love this one. I love this deck in general, the Chakra Wisdom Oracle. I love this deck. But this card, because it was too ominous, I was like, let me get another one and let's see what's gonna happen. And interestingly, we got a very similar message. And the message tells a very clear story related to kind of committing to your path, committing to taking action rather than fantasizing about outcomes or possibilities. They try to tell you to, in a way, not live in the dream world because perhaps you're afraid of this dream becoming true and of what it means. You're being told to take action and move towards your dreams becoming a reality. If there is a way, and I feel like there is a way that you have imagined your life becoming or yourself becoming, perhaps there is a story that you wanted your life to be like, or you imagined your life to be a certain way. And perhaps there is a lot of doubt regarding that. And maybe you're saying something like, maybe it's gonna happen when it's meant to be or when it's destined with this destiny card. But you're being reminded through these two cards that even it doesn't matter if it's meant or it's not meant. What matters is for you to not just live in a fantasy and to take action towards what makes you feel excited and fulfilled, because that's when it's going to unfold, whether it's meant to be or not. The thing that matters for you, pile number one, is to take action and to make things happen, to move towards that possibility or that dream or that fantasy life that you're wishing to have, because it's possible for you and we can see it happening, or we can see it as a message from your soul here, because there is love that is coming your way. Perhaps there is a connection that is coming your way, especially with this Two of Cups. But there are maybe wishes coming true for you, and the way they could come for you is when you are willing to move towards them, to take the first step and take that action necessary. With the bear, the stars, and the letter here, this is a final combination that is speaking to me about an awakening here that may help you become a stronger communicator. The bear here is an authority figure. It's also a mastery figure. It's a figure that represents confidence, leadership, protection, and influence. The stars here represents maybe destiny here because of the wheel of the zodiac that is represented here, but it also speaks of what is written in the stars. It speaks of inspiration and hope and wishes coming true and ideals. The letter at the end gives us a something related to the Gemini energy, communication, writing, messages, speaking, information, perhaps social media, maybe teaching, anything connected to words and speaking and information. And I feel like at the end, a practical use of what is going on here and what is awakening within you is related to a profound mastery and influential, in a way, power, or let's say an influential mastery, and perhaps influential words or an influential way of communication, maybe communicating with confidence and leadership and clarity. And so I feel like maybe something that you would resonate with, as an example, is becoming a stronger communicator who has a lot of influence and who communicates or conveys information confidently. So this is, I think all I have for you, pile number one. I truly hope this resonates for you and or gave you insight. If it did, please subscribe so you won't miss any future readings. Comment down below and press the like button. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me, you can check my email. It's in the description box below, but you can also DM me in my Instagram or TikTok account. If you would like to take a look at tarot readings that are about relationship guidance or love connections, you can check my first channel, Between Realms Tarot. You will find the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for being here, pile number one, and see you next time. Hi, pile number two. If you have picked this card, this is going to be your reading about what part of yourself is currently awakening. And so let's start your reading. So, pile number two. I feel like the overall energy of this part of yourself that is awakening right now is related to your identity in general. This Uranus represents awakening. It represents a jolting energy of liberation and originality, of rebellion against limitations that try to perhaps put your identity into a box that it doesn't simply fit into. And perhaps breaking old patterns related to how you presented yourself in the past and realizing that maybe that was not the true you. And the first house is also related to your whole life. And so I feel like this reflects back onto your whole life. And I feel like this affects your whole life. The Virgo here brings a lot of self-improvement and detail orientation and seeking practical self-improvement and also discernment and some type of a practical wisdom. And we're going to see how that manifests in this part of yourself that is awakening right now. And so with the Ten of Cups, it seems like what has been asleep in your life is your perhaps capacity to experience genuine emotional belonging and happiness that can be derived from being with others. And so I feel like maybe this card suggests that you've been connecting with others, or maybe not, but it feels like it's almost like you didn't get the full fulfillment from being with others, or that sense of fulfillment that can be had from connecting with others. Emotional fulfillment wasn't so easy to access. Maybe it makes more sense if we look at this as if you wanted to have this Ten of Cups energy in your life. You wanted to have fulfillment in your life. You wanted to have maybe a family with this Ten of Cups. You wanted that sense of happily ever after. But it's been there within you, a sense of knowing how it feels and knowing how to connect with it. But it's been asleep. This card is in a place where it suggests that it's been asleep. It's been there, but not manifested. The Knight of Wands here shows that why is the thing that we're talking about, which is related to literally who you are. There's an identity change or reforming that is happening currently, and it's happening because something excited you. I mean, Uranus and the Knight of Wands, there is a lot of excitement, willingness to pursue what excites you, willingness to pursue what what kind of makes your heart very passionate. And so I feel like you are now encouraged in a way to move and chase what excites you, what are you passionate about, and perhaps it's a way of your self-expression in general. And it's very interesting that we have this gossip card here, because I'm gonna talk about that. I feel it is related to who you are. Perhaps the way you dress is important for you, the way you portray yourself, the way you talk, the way you communicate, the way you express yourself in general is maybe something that you really didn't connect to in the past, and you felt maybe limited, and now it seems like you're encouraged to chase what makes you happy and excited, and you want more for yourself, and you seem to be ready to chase it here with this Nine of Wands and Uranus energy. And again, I feel it's connected to your identity. It's an identity emergent here. With the King of Swords, the gift that is emerging is a gift of objectivity, of clear-headedness, clear thinking. I feel there is here embodiment of discernment. I feel like with this Virgo energy here too, and Uranus is a higher octave of Mercury. Mercury is also a ruler of Virgo, and I feel like maybe there are insights that you would like to give to the world. Maybe there are opinions, maybe there are truths that you would like to communicate with others. Maybe you would like to set your boundaries with the utmost clarity. And it's emerging from a sense of rebellion over being caged and over being criticized. There is like this, again, reformative change that is happening within your whole identity, and it's caused by you feeling excited, almost rebellious, and wanting to pursue what excites you. Maybe that reflects back onto you the Ten of Cups. And again, I feel like you always knew what it means to be happy and to be fulfilled emotionally, but maybe there were disappointing situations or circumstances in the past that did not allow that to come up to the surface for you. And now you're choosing yourself. Maybe for the first time, you're choosing to not deny who you are, and you're choosing to move towards what is practically true, and maybe reach a place where you're making decisions for yourself. You're not allowing others to decide how you want to move, how you want to communicate, how you want to talk. You're more clear and discerning about who you are now. With the Ace of Swords, it seems like what needs healing suggests maybe allowing yourself to release self-doubt. With the Ace of Swords, allowing yourself to embrace clarity. Maybe here there is doubt around how you make decisions, but also maybe there is doubt around things that you already know to be true, but still they were questioned. And now what needs healing is for you to release confusion and release doubt, and to give yourself the permission to embrace the truths that are coming up to your mind, to embrace that you do have a clear mind that is capable of making decisions for your own self, and how you want to live your life, and how you want to portray your identity to the public. With this Queen of Wands here, how this changes your life is, to be honest, it brings a lot of confidence. It's an embodiment of confidence. I feel like this, what the part of you that is awakening, that is connected to pursuing what excites you and pursuing happiness that you were probably disappointed about in the past, probably chasing what makes you fulfilled because you now understand with a clear mindset what makes you feel fulfilled. And again, not unlike pile number one, I got a straightforward message around what is awakening within them. But for you, I feel like it's an identity crisis of some kind. It's not one part of yourself that is awakening, it's your whole self, because we are at the first house. And so it's your whole self that is awakening. I feel like you might be including improvements with this Virgo energy, real, practical, maybe detail oriented improvements in the way you dress or in the way you speak, in the way you exist. I feel like maybe you're focusing a lot on self-improvement in general, and that is awakening your whole identity, or at least making you rebel against being caged and being hidden, because maybe that did not make you happy and you knew for a long time this 10 of cups was dormant within you, and now you're ready to chase it with this Knight of Wands. The Queen of Wands seems to be, or introducing to us, how this change or awakening is going to affect your life. And the Queen of Wands speaks of embodying an energy of magnetism, attractiveness, confidence, discernment, and authenticity, and an ability to be warm, an ability to be creative, and an ability to chase what actually brings you passion. And we're moving from the Knight of Wands, so it's a spark here, it's a move that was triggered, it's an energy that was just, kind of maybe ignited, but then its effect is going to become this King of Wands, and this King of Wands is taking more control over its life. It's taking more control over their dreams coming true and how they want to look and what do they want to do in life, and no longer letting others decide for them. I feel like you don't even have resentment over others. Very interesting. I feel like this is very, very self-focused, extremely self-focused energy I see in here. With the Four of Cups, this is how to nurture this awakening. And the Four of Cups, I feel it can reflect mindfulness, but I feel like that's more of a Four of Swords card. But I feel like it's more of an encouragement to reflect upon what have been lost with this Four of Cups. We look at this, I see this figure as having this broken pot, but we can look at this as focusing too much on the Three Cups and the other one is lost, but maybe we did not see that it's broken, actually not lost, because we're focused on the other ones. And I feel like there is still lack of recognition of what's been overlooked, because this one seems to be overlooking a broken cup and so, or pot. And maybe here, how to nurture this is to become reflective, is reflecting over what makes a situation a whole. And so maybe I'm getting the Five of Cups vibes, but if we needed to have it, we could have had it. But it's more like maybe reflecting on what you are overlooking and what life is offering. So I feel like in this case, how to nurture this part is to look after or kind of notice the opportunities that are being offered to you, and maybe to avoid impulsiveness here with this Knight of Wands. There is a lot of swords energy here, but I feel like we have a lot of balance when it comes to self-improvement, but there is a reminder here to stay emotionally present and to not become stuck. It's almost like to become reflective emotionally, to not stay stuck in one state of emotion where maybe there is disappointment or there is routine. That could be a bit confining, and that could result in overlooking some aspects of life that might be opportunities. I'm trying to make sense of this because at the end we have the King of Cups as the future self that is integrating this part of yourself that is awakening. And so while we started with the Ten of Cups, we're ending with a King of Cups, and the Ten of Cups was dormant, and the Four of Cups is how you nurture this part of yourself that is awakening. And I feel like maybe the ultimate purpose here through this identity crisis and awakening is to reach emotional fulfillment and maturation or maturity. But the Four of Cups, to nurture that, is to not become complacent when things do not work, and to not overlook maybe offers of life or some opportunities that might seem too little to consider, to have some type of balance when it comes to emotional fulfillment. The King of Cups at the end shows that this future self of yours that is integrating your transformation or your awakening is a journey of reaching emotional mastery, of understanding one's own emotional self. And it's a very self-focused process here. To maybe emotional maturity is related to having compassion, empathy, healthy boundaries, and understanding our own selves. Also having control over our emotions, which means know how to manage stress, negative feelings, know how to stay in one state without becoming agitated and wanting to run away, and so remaining calm under pressure, and balancing the heart and the mind. And so I feel like this future self, or this part of yourself that is awakening, is resulting in a self that has a balance of the mind, the King of Swords, the soul or the spirit, and what makes us feel excited with the King of Wands, and the King of Cups, the emotions. And I feel like a future self balances all of those aspects here. With the comic here, the vibration, or yeah, the comic here, the vibration of this awakening is a vibration of, I feel, as I was getting, this Uranus energy, it feels like something that is enormously important for you that is happening right now, something very personal and reformative. But it's also, I feel like you're seeing it through a comic perspective, through a very light and humorous perspective. You probably are now carrying yourself in a happy-go-lucky way, maybe. And so I feel like you bring a lot of lightness into the process that you're going through right now. especially with the Uranus energy, I feel like you're challenging even the idea of transformation through pain. And so maybe there isn't pain here, there is more of excitement and making fun of the process, or through the process you're not losing your joy through this awakening. You're becoming wiser, and you're becoming more understanding of life, and how perhaps we might sometimes take it too seriously and we might not enjoy the process. And so I feel like the way you're going through this right now is through humor, is through making light out of things and not letting yourself be carried by the complexity of this process, by following your heart and following what makes you joyful. With the gossip here, this card is a card that I love and I got so many times, and I feel like it reflects a message of the message that all of us need in a way. The gossip card here speaks of embracing our authentic self. And I feel like what your soul wants you to know about this process right now. And I feel like it's almost like your soul is greeting you through, or kind of congratulating you through this process, because this gossip card talks about where we are different. We are going through a process of maybe individualization. We're going through a process of becoming who we truly are. And I feel like that's what's happening for you. You're individualizing in a way. You're becoming more of who you are. And you might be standing out with this Uranus in the first house. As you see this female figure, she's very exciting to look at. She has this beautiful silver hair and the green dress and the green house and the green scarf, and she's a painter. And she seems like she's dancing or enjoying, and she's smiling to others, while others, they are too judgmental of her. And I feel like what's happening with you is that you're standing out. When you are maybe you can be considered like so different from your outbringing. Maybe you're not like your siblings. Maybe that's something you resonate with. Maybe you're so different. Maybe you live in a town where you're different, or you have different ideas, different beliefs, and you act differently. You believe in different things and you want different things in life. And I feel like you're embracing those with a lot of self-compassion and excitement, and it's making you stand out. People might look at you in weirdly or in different ways, and I feel like your soul wants you to know that if you find yourself not caring about what people think and just maybe understanding where they come from, and maybe resisting the pressure to conform to their pressure and to who they want you to be, and still becoming authentic to who you are, I feel like in that process you're really accepting others too, and you're not maybe mad about their pressure and their judgment. You're compassionate towards them. And I feel like your soul wants you to know that there is a lot of wisdom in that. There's a lot of wisdom in being forgiven towards others who don't understand your growth, your authenticity. Maybe understanding that they needed at some point to conform to feel safe. And if that's what you feel, I feel like that comes from a place of wisdom. But also there is a congratulations here for you for being courageous and brave, especially with this Knight of Wands, to still be yourself, even if it's so different, to still dress the way you want, to still act and be the way you want, and believe in what you want, and think of what you want, despite standing out and being seen and judged by others. There's a lot of bravery and wisdom in that too. The next card that we have for you as a message from this board that is awakening within you, we have the healing card. Let me show you the imagery. So this is a couple that seems to be healing. Maybe you resonate with this imagery, and I have to cover the parts of the picture, the imagery here. And so this card says healing. Imagine yourself and your beloved surrounded by light. Feel your relationship being healed this very moment. And so this one is kind of reminding me of what I said here when it comes to this part of yourself telling you to feel your relationship with your beloved being healed this very moment. Maybe again, while you're going through this vibration of the comic, there is a lot of compassion that you're having for others, even when you're not accepted. And I feel like at some point you're realizing that people will come around eventually. There are people that are still there for you, there are people that are rooting for you and that would support you through this process, that wouldn't limit you, and that would be compassionate towards you too. And I feel like you already know this. It's very lovely that we have this message here with the coffin, stars and owls as an ending here. The coffin represents endings, and I feel this comes through very strongly, resonating with the Uranus in the first house as a transformation, as wanting to break free, and with the stars wanting to reach an ideal and being inspired and having an ideal that wants to be manifested. The owls here emphasizes wisdom, emphasizes understanding that this is part of your growth, and that this is almost unavoidable, and this is how it should be. And so these cards suggest that embracing this awakening allows an old version of you to die, and for an ideal of you to emerge slowly but surely, and with the owls to reach some sort of a mastery that brings a lot of clarity and wisdom. And so you're encouraged here to trust your insights and to trust in the ending, because I feel like it's already happened, and I feel like you're embracing this process more than we can understand in a way. So at the end here, the story of this part of yourself that is awakening, pile number 2, is related to healing, or kind of rebelling against what did not bring you happiness, because you understand, or you have a wise answer to what it means to be happy, or you have a clear understanding of what it means to be happy. And I feel like for you, maybe that is related to your identity and to expressing yourself authentically and to embracing your uniqueness and the way you stand out. And so there is a lot of intellect and wisdom and confidence and emotional maturation that you can find through this process. And so pile number 2, this is all I have for you for today. I truly hope this resonates for you. If it does, please subscribe so you won't miss any future readings. Comment down below and press the like button. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me, you will find my email in the description box below. You can also DM me in my Instagram or TikTok account. And if you are interested in tarot readings that are about love and relationship guidance, you can check my other channel, Between Realms Tarot. You will find the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for being here, pile number 2, and see you next time. Hi, pile number 3. If you have picked this card, this is going to be a reading about what part of yourself is awakening, and so let's start your reading. So, pile number 3, I feel like what we can emphasize here as a part of yourself that is awakening is your self-worth or your sense of value. The sun here brings a lot of illumination and truth and consciousness, and also represents authenticity. In the second house, it does talk about self-worth and what is considered of a personal value or personal resource or security. But Libra being there, it does emphasize balance and self-respect when it comes to connecting with others and in relationships, and what is fair in a relationship. And I feel like what is awakening within you here is, how do you value yourself and how do you recognize your worth and how do you honor your own needs and wants within a relationship? How much are you giving to others that is not giving you back? And perhaps I'm saying that specifically because we got the guilt card. And we also have a message from this part of yourself that is awakening that talks about guilt, and I find that to be a big synchronicity. So let's start with the tarot. First of all, with the Wheel of Fortune, it seems like what has been asleep is not something of a personality trait. It's more like, I feel like life maybe seemed stuck, and perhaps there were cycles in your life that were happening again and again and that you were aware of. The Wheel of Fortune can speak of cycles. It speaks of patterns also that we can see coming, or sometimes we don't see coming, but maybe perhaps you have felt stuck or kind of trapped in some type of a pattern or a cycle that was repeating. And I feel like maybe you were waiting for the right moment to grow through changing the cycle or through breaking the cycle. I feel like there was a lot of thought that you have invested regarding karma and the idea of what goes around comes around. And maybe you have gained the perspective about where have you been contributing to a repeating pattern and where you should break off or break away from that pattern. With the 8 of Cups, why is this part of yourself that is connected to your self-worth and you valuing yourself in relationships and seeking fairness, seeking what you truly deserve? Why is it awakening right now? We have the 8 of Cups. And the 8 of Cups symbolizes perhaps choosing to walk away from where you don't feel emotionally fulfilled, valued, and where you don't feel like you're getting your needs met. And so I feel like maybe you have made the choice to walk away, to move away from what no longer fulfills you, and from something that you have outgrown. With this Wheel of Fortune, kind of you finally moved away from the cycle. You chose to break that cycle and you chose another path. You chose to cut the pattern and move away from it. And I feel like that's what kind of finally clicked in your brain in a way. Again, you seem to have been aware or of your entrapment in a role or at a place or in a cycle that was just repeating and felt felt like you're stuck. It felt like every time it happens again and again, maybe a lot of people took advantage of you. Maybe a lot of people made you feel guilty or responsible for their own emotional happiness. And again, this cycle repeated too much that you recognized your role within it and how you contributed into not valuing yourself or people not valuing you. And I'm not victim blaming here at all, but sometimes we have to see, where have we allowed something to happen again and again for so long? Where did we perhaps embrace the role that kept us stuck instead of contributed into our growth? And I feel like you knew and you found out and you chose to move away, and you chose perhaps better for yourself. With this Five of Pentacles, the gift that is emerging currently, it's an odd gift here with the Five of Pentacles, but I feel like there is a sense of, maybe you experienced exclusion, you experienced feeling shunned or feeling rejected when you have chosen yourself. Perhaps you were left out or rejected when you have expressed your needs or expressed that you're not really happy in some situation. Maybe you are in a state of vulnerability, or you were in a state of vulnerability, feeling rejected, or again, not listened to, not heard, and that your needs were not met. Perhaps that affected your sense of worthiness for a long time. And so, as a gift here, it might represent not remaining defined by this hardship, and perhaps not remaining defined by a lack of self-worth, and becoming more empathetic towards yourself, and by consequence becoming empathetic towards others. And so there is a deeper understanding of how, or of where you should fit or where you can fit, and how maybe you can extend the same compassion to others. There is an understanding from having experienced difficult circumstances related to lack and experience of lack. Maybe it is financial lack. Maybe you didn't find support when you needed it. Maybe you supported another person or other people while they did not have your back when you needed them, and that made you feel that rejection and that lack of support. And so the gift here might be understanding and seeing other people that go through the same circumstances and extending that empathy, seeing where people have navigated or are navigating the same circumstances and the same feelings of rejection and lack of support, and understanding true support, and again, a gift of empathy and understanding, and perhaps even resilience, and standing up for yourself and making things happen for yourself even when others were not there for you. The Knight of Cups here is what needs healing right now, and I feel like this perhaps involves giving yourself the opportunity to, maybe the Knight of Cups can speak of emotional expression, art forms, emotional truths, vulnerability. And so I feel like what needs healing, and I feel, again, maybe because of all of those hardships with others or lack of support from others, maybe for a while you felt weak or vulnerable. And I feel like maybe you felt as if your heart was taken for granted here with this Nine of Cups. You perhaps may be somebody who wears their heart on their sleeve, and I feel like maybe other people knew that you have that amount of emotional empathy and compassion towards others, and so in a way, maybe there was a sense of lack of healthy boundaries here that did not really, or kind of that's what contributed into this cycle of guilt here. And that is what needs healing. What needs healing is to know, is opening your heart, keeping your heart open, still believing in your feelings and in expressing your feelings and in connecting with others, but with healthy boundaries and understanding where your feelings and your emotional willingness, or your willingness to love others and give love and receive love, is being taken advantage of, and recognizing how to put healthy boundaries so that can never or cannot happen again. With the King of Pentacles, this is how this is going to change your life. And the King of Pentacles is a beautiful outcome because it shows a sense of grounding, a sense of stabilizing, a sense of finding your footing through building for yourself. And that seems to be also working up or strengthening your self-worth and your self-esteem. And you're likely to build something for yourself. You're likely to honor yourself and support yourself to a place where you're very independent, but you're also capable of being secure and helping others be secure, but again, with healthy boundaries. Again, there is a lot of independence that is being cultivated through this whole process, and that seems to be grounding you and giving you so much power and understanding of your worth. I'm not gonna say that you're not gonna need anyone. That's obviously, in a way, not realistic. We live, not everybody needs people. Let's just face it, not everyone needs people. There are people who live in mountains, secluded, and I think they're content. I didn't know. I mean, I didn't have a direct experience with them, but I think they could be content. A lot of people could be content in isolation and not needing people. And so maybe you're cultivating a sense of security that is not penetratable, that cannot be penetrated, and that others cannot take advantage of anymore, and that you can choose who to support and how to support others, not based on guilt. With the Ten of Swords here, this one is how to nurture this aspect of yourself that is awakening, which is your self-worth. And the Ten of Swords speaks of accepting endings, of grieving pain. To be honest, I see this in this situation, allowing yourself to feel as if you were a victim. There's nothing wrong with being a victim. There's nothing shameful with being a victim. Allowing yourself to validate your story, validate perhaps being a victim somewhere, somehow, if that is something you resonate with. Allowing yourself to grieve and allowing yourself to feel that pain and to feel the loss and accept the loss. And the more you let go of the loss and of what happened while feeling it, the more there is for you in the future. Because healing begins when we validate our pain, when we validate our grief. That's when healing begins. That's when understanding begins. With the Strength card at the end, the future self of yours is a self of compassion. I feel like after this transformation or awakening is integrated, you operate from a place of strength, but not a bold strength, but it's a quiet and compassionate strength where you know how to support yourself and support others without feeling like you need to overextend yourself or You don't also need to be a victim in the future because you understand. And so the strength here represents that you perhaps gain a sense of resilience too, and you manage life better. I mean, with that King of Pentacles, there's a lot of support and security that you are cultivating for yourself. And I feel like there is a balance that is going to be found in your life in the future, because you're not overextending yourself, because you're not making decisions based on fear or guilt or shame. You're making decisions based on compassion and love and courage. You know your motives with this strength card. You know your instincts, you know your impulses, and you know how to make decisions. Now, with the mentor, the vibration of this awakening seems to be related to what you're going through right now, gaining wisdom through your experience. I feel like I see like building blocks, or kind of climbing a mountain or moving up a hill. And the more you move, the more experience you have, the more understanding you have. And I feel like this, combined with all of the cards, you gain a lot of wisdom through this process. The mentor is a teacher, but I feel like in this experience of yours, maybe at some point, if you resonate, you will teach people through your own experience. But how we see this currently in this spread, it talks about being through this process that's been painful, a cycle that you broke away from, and going through difficult circumstances and growing slowly but surely and building for yourself. This is all an experience where you're becoming wise, you're gaining wisdom and experience, and all of that is becoming a well of insight that could be shared with others. And so you're a student of your own experience, and you're gaining wisdom, and you're learning. And especially with the strength card, I feel like, again, an awareness of your impulses, an awareness of your motives, and an awareness of where are you making decisions from. With the guilt card, this one is a message about this awakening, and combined with the lovers, like the lovers card here, or the lovers oracle card, this one says, let's see, this is the imagery. I don't know if you resonate, I just want to show you the imagery. This is perhaps an angel, but I'm hearing a fallen angel. I'm like, an angel or a fallen angel? I don't know the story. I don't know the story of fallen angels, to be honest. I don't know what are those. I just hear about them. So this one says, don't make decisions based on guilt or what you think you should do, for it is only in being true to yourself that you can be true to others. And so this one, combined with the guilt, I mean, again, a synchronicity, and I feel like I get a lot of synchronicities in this channel, more than the love channel. I mean, I do love readings in my Between Realms Tarot channel, and I do get synchronicities, but I feel like I do get astonishing ones in this channel where I do spiritual guidance and messages in general, answering interesting questions such as today's question. And so I feel like I get a lot of synchronicities here that are very interesting. And this one is like literally word by word guilt. And so the guilt card talks about this female figure whose name is Apricot. And she seems to be having a project or something that she's working on with a friend, supposedly, and the friend is calling herself a partner, but she's not really contributing to the business or to the project. And then she asks for payment, even though she's not doing anything. And so apricot is struggling to kind of make ends meet in this, and she's working too hard, and then being kind of asked for payment for doing nothing. Apricot stands up for herself, and she says that she cannot do such a thing because it's obvious why. I mean, her friend did not work, did not contribute. And so for the first time, Apricot stands up for herself, and she understands that she cannot give from a place of when her cup is not full. She can only give from a place of excess. She can only extend support rather than be kind of maybe extorted. Is that a word? Is that the word? Or kind of guilt shamed into helping another person. And so I feel like a message from your higher self is about not sacrificing yourself out of obligation towards friends or towards people. Or again, Libra here speaks of partnerships and relationships, friendships, or like a connection with another person. And so it's very important for you to have healthy boundaries and to release resentment when you are helping others, but to also recognize where are you being guilt shamed or guilt kind of manipulated into giving others where they did not support back, or they are not worth it in a way. And so understand that you do not have to give others from a place of obligation or guilt, and that it's not selfish to look after yourself and to choose yourself, and it's not shameful to choose yourself and to choose to do the right thing. And you are encouraged to pursue more balance and break free from people who take advantage of you. With the last cards that we have for you, we have the Key, Coffin, and Mountain. And for me, Key and Coffin, they speak of this breakthrough and unlocking cycles and ending, kind of like it feels like you're gaining a gift through this process of this part that is awakening of resilience, an ability to break free from things that are no longer serving you, an ability to kind of get out and choose an ending rather than choose to continue a cycle of pain. And so there is a reward for you here in embracing this awakening, which is your ability to let go of an old chapter when you recognize that it's no longer helpful or fulfilling, and you're unlocking another path. And so the Mountain here is an obstacle card, and it suggests that getting out of cycles and choosing to end situations that no longer fulfill you does not mean that you will not ever encounter this type of people again or this type of situations again, but it gives you a resilience with this Strength card too, to move forward, and it gives you more strength and clarity and trust in yourself to defend yourself and to navigate these circumstances, and to always recognize a cycle when it's repeating, or a pattern that is negative, that is harming you in life, that is repeating, and to induce an ending and get out. And so I feel like, again, this is a reminder that you will encounter these people because you have an open heart, but you're encouraged to have healthy boundaries, and you're gaining a gift of resilience and of always not becoming afraid of endings and of losses, and or of becoming alone, and still having the strength to navigate such situations. So pile number 3, this is all I have for you for today. I truly hope this resonated or it gave you insight. If it did, please press the like button, comment down below, and subscribe. And if you are interested in tarot readings that are love related or relationship guidance, you can check my other channel, Between Realms Tarot. You will find the link in the description box below. If you are interested in a private reading with me, you can find my email in the description box below. You can also DM me in my Instagram or TikTok account. Thank you so much for being here, pile number 3, and see you next time.